one of these. This is actually not called a Tesla coil, it's called an Uden coil. It's slightly different, but basically works on the same principle. It's going to pump electricity into this and into the end of this, and you're just going to see that I've got a button here. I'm going to have to turn it on, and you'll see that I can make a spark if I get it close to a place for it to go. Okay? It's just a small version of that. The spark is lightning, and in fact, the center of that spark is hotter than the surface of the sun. It's not very wide, so it's not like heating up the room significantly. It's not dangerous for us, but it's hotter than the surface of the sun. So I've got something that's going to make a very hot spark. It's going to make tiny high-pitched thunder. And then I've got to add in just a couple of other things. And this is bringing together everything that we've talked about today. Every single demonstration I've shown you has been connected to this. Now I have to get a little bit of safety equipment in place. One is this, okay? And one is, I'm going to ask you to just stand here because I need your chair. So if you'll stand here. Good, thank you. Now, I'm going to put this chair up. You'll see why I have to have the chair here, okay? Now, I'm going to take some yeast pea, otherwise known as alcohol. Did you not know that alcohol was yeast pea?
No.
Yeah, yeast is this little organism, and you feed it something like sugar, or in this case they fed it, what do you think they fed it? Look what's on there. Corn. So in this case, they fed it corn. Where did the corn get the energy from? The sun. Sun to corn, corn to yeast, yeast to yeast pea. There's some energy in the yeast pea. When somebody's drinking like a beer or wine, whiskey, they're drinking yeast pea. I mean, that's what it is. I didn't know if you knew that, but anyway, so you can tell somebody the next time you see somebody drinking, you can say, oh, you know you're drinking yeast pea. I learned that when I went to Appalachian. Okay. Now, the last thing I'm going to tell you about this before I actually do it is that what I'm about to show you, you've all experienced many times today. Okay? So just keep that in mind while you watch what happens. I'm going to put this cap on here. And so I've got a little bit of the yeast pea or alcohol in here that came from corn. And I'm going to put it under here. And notice there are two bolts in this. They don't quite touch. They're almost touching, but they've got a little gap in between. And I've got this thing that makes a bunch of electrons jump through the air to somewhere where they can get away from one another. But here's the thing that's interesting. I'm going to let them get into this bolt, but then they're going to get crowded in that bolt, right? So then they're going to jump to the other bolt. So keep that in mind. Now, so remember, this thing is going to represent something that you all have experienced today already. Now,
that sounds like a gunshot.
Now, what is it that just happened? Yeah, oh, it lit it up. Okay, wait a minute. So the spark went from here to here and then jumped in the inside, and that spark was really hot, and it must have lit up something that was in here, something from the yeast pea. The alcohol, the molecules of the ethanol that were in there were burned. And then why did the cork fly off?
Because of the pressure.
Wait, hang on a second. Stop and think. Why was there pressure in there? Could you see a little flame in the back? Did you see like a flame shoot out of that? So do you think it was hot in there or cold? Hot. What happens to molecules when they get hot? They spread out. That's what we demonstrated when we were doing the thing with the pipe. The molecules spread out. They created high pressure. They created high pressure and they forced the cork out, or the stopper out. Now, was there any other release of energy? Sound, yes. So there was heat, there was light, there was sound. You could tell that there was heat because this thing got melted a little one time I did it, right? Now, remember I said this was something that you all have experienced today? Many times? What did this represent? Raise your hand, don't yell out. Raise your hand if you think you know what it was. Yes? Yeah, You know, if you all had experienced a fart like that, ooh, bless you. I know. What did this represent? Every one of you, you saw it a bunch, you heard it, you might not have seen it directly. Okay, my friend, what do you think?
Force.
Yeah, there was force, but I'm talking about an invention in the modern world. What does this represent? A car. Who said that? Yes, this is a car engine. And in fact, what happened here was exactly what is going on inside a car engine many, many thousands of times every minute. So what's happening is you've got, what do you think the liquid is? Gas. That's, in this case, it was alcohol. In the case of the car, your car gasoline mostly has some alcohol in it. Have you ever seen on the pump it says may contain up to 10% ethanol? I wanted to get stickers that said may contain up to 10% yeast pea and put them on all the gas pumps around town, but then I realized there were cameras at every gas station. I was going to get in trouble. But the idea was that to teach people that, in fact, this stuff is in your gasoline. And this is just pure yeast pea, and the gasoline actually has gasoline plus yeast pea. Okay, so then what do you think the two bolts represent? What part of your car do the two bolts represent? I'll give you a hint. Spark plug. Nicely said. Okay, the spark plug, which lights the vapor of the gas, creates an explosion which forces the, what do you think this is? In the car. What is this? That's the piston. This is the cylinder. Those are all words that you'd learn if you were doing a car maintenance class, right? So the piston gets forced up, and that's connected to the crankshaft, and that moves the wheels of the car. This is not just, oh, I came to App State and I saw this explosion. This is how your car runs. Me drinking upside down, I saw this guy drink upside down. That's not just how my body works, it's how your body works. It's why you can lie on the couch and eat popcorn and not have to get up every so often and do that. You just eat the popcorn, you go to sleep, you poop it out the next morning, you don't even think about it until it doesn't work. And then you go to a doctor and you hope the doctor was somebody like one of you who's going to grow up to know how to fix things because you understood science and you had the curiosity to ask why. You don't have to know everything. And in fact, I tell this to my students. If you show up in my class in 5 years, I'm not going to say, oh, didn't you remember that from that thing I gave you? I'm going to say, did that thing, that demonstration that I gave you when you were here in 8th grade, did it make you curious? Did it make you wonder about something? Because that's the thing that's going to make you successful. Now, but also when you get to college, and I super look forward to seeing some of you walking in the halls here in the future. All right, my friends, take care.